What on earth, you might say, does the Fast Lady have to do with Sir John Franklin and Canada's Northwest Passage? Well, this story will tell you all about it. Here we go. This next story is called How Did We Get Involved with Canada's Northwest Passage? It came about in 1986 and we were living close to Spilsby in Lincolnshire. Sir John Franklin, Spilsby's most famous son, was born there in 1786 and subsequently lost his life together with the rest of his crew and 2 ships, undertaking that expedition to find the Northwest Passage in 1848. This was the most sought after route around the top of the world, which it was hoped could allow vessels to reach the Pacific Ocean without having to risk that long dangerous voyage around South America and Cape Horn. The actual history of these explorations are covered in many publications, and indeed Internet's Wikipedia has most comprehensive information. Back in Spilsby in 1986, the Mayor and Councillors had been asked by the High Commissioner for Canada to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Franklin's birth, and indeed the High Commissioner himself wished to attend. Before we go any further with our story, perhaps it would be best to explain to readers and listeners around the world who a High Commissioner is. Well, a High Commissioner can be termed as a senior diplomat, ranking as an ambassador, and who is in charge of the diplomatic missions of one Commonwealth country to another. In fact, a High Commissioner can simply be described as an ambassador of a Commonwealth country in another of those Commonwealth countries. The Honourable Roy McMurtry was at that time the High Commissioner for Canada, resident in the UK. In 1986, I was working for the Skegness Standard newspaper, producing a free midweek paper called the Skegness Extra. Ruth was our local district nursing sister. We'd moved to live at Great Steeping a couple of years or so earlier and had 2 antique horse-drawn carriages that we used for wedding hire, the income from which helped to pay for the upkeep of our 3 horses. Roy McMurtry had been a prominent member of the Canadian government and held the post of Canadian High Commissioner to the UK from 1985 to 1988. Before that, he held the posts of Attorney General and Solicitor General in the Canadian government. In actual fact, the headquarters of the Attorney General in Toronto are named after him and his successor, the McMurtry Scott Building. Now we know the most senior representative of the Canadian government in the UK is coming to Spilsby for this special day. The Mayor of Spilsby at this time was Rex Cook Barnes, who had first met in 1962 when he was the representative in the area for Regent Petroleum. Regent subsequently became Texaco. They as a company were sponsoring a new comedy film that had just been released with a list of top-class actors and actresses, The Fast Lady. Regent Petrol, in the guise of Rex, came to our newspaper, the Boston Standard, and wanted a publicity feature to promote the film and their company jointly. At that time, I was an ad salesman and copywriter, the youngest in our team. I was delighted to be given the job, so Rex and I worked together for a couple of weeks or so to put the publicity together. It was very successful, and Ruth and I did get in to see the film for free. 24 years later, and Rex approached Ruth and I to see if we would provide horse-drawn transport for himself and the Canadian High Commissioner for the forthcoming special event in the town. If I remember correctly, he had no money to pay us, but the event should provide publicity for us and our carriage hire business, so we agreed. For the day, it was decided we should use our Victoria carriage, which is open with a hood, and Jupiter would be the horse to pull it. Dinon, our Dalmatian carriage dog, was at the height of his ability at this time too, so he was included. As far as we were concerned, the event went off without a hitch. We provided the transport and then went home. Whatever happened afterwards, I've no idea. But I guess Spilsby Council must have provided some sort of shindig for their visiting dignitary. At least I hope so. Roy McMurtry was a very genial character, as I guessed he must have been to get to be High Commissioner. And there's a picture of Roy here in 2019 from the internet. That's the end of that little story, brought to you by Cracker Books, written and read by Keith Sanders. Little note here, if you enjoy watching these publications on YouTube, could you give us a like if you like them, and also think about subscribing. It doesn't cost anything, but if you subscribe to our channel, then YouTube will let you know just as soon as we produce something new. Additionally, if you'd like to look at all our other publications, you can find links to them on our website, which is www.crackerbooks.fr. And that's easy to remember, isn't it? On there you'll find the links to everything we do. There are over 200 of these videos now. There are over 200 audio stories. You can download all these to any device you choose, free of charge. Additionally, there are 10 complete books, ebooks. You can download them as well. There are hours of entertainment here for you to enjoy completely free of charge. Do have a look at www.crackerbooks.fr, and thank you for listening.